Hello everyone, welcome to my day one port review of Dead Island Definitive Edition. Yeah, we're getting a lot of these lately, right? We had Darksiders earlier on the channel. There must be so many great games on the PS4 and Xbox One. I hate this generation. It's like, so much so that they're actually making new consoles right now. It's not even like 3 years into the... Anyway, that's a whole nother video, but... Dead Island. So it's had kind of a mixed history, let's just put it that way. So we had a trailer originally come out for this game, and it looked amazing, and then it turned out the game was nothing like that trailer. It wasn't like Aliens Colonial Marines level of lies, but it was a completely different narrative, and the final game turned out to be this taking itself seriously kind of hack-and-slash co-op brawler. And honestly, if you want to play a game that has good parkour mechanics and good melee combat, play Dying Light. It's made by the same developers, actually, but Dead Island then got a sequel, sort of, through Riptide, which even let you import your character, and then it got a mix. It just lost its identity for a bit. It decided, like, we need to make a top-down, free-to-play, broken Diablo clone, and it didn't work. It was also pay-to-win. And then they made this point-and-click game, and now they seem to be back on track. Now, apparently, Dead Island 2 is supposed to be, like, more comical, like what the original was supposed to be, like a more comedy-based game. Taking yourself way less seriously, because you can't take zombies seriously anymore, usually, unless you do it very well. So, apparently Dead Island 2 is in limbo right now, and I don't even know if it'll be coming out, but, you know, we got these two games, so let's talk about at least the first one. They also came out with a brawler, or they're coming out with one, a retro-inspired 2D brawler, based off Dead Island. And there's no local co-op for that. There's no local co-op for this one either. I know it wasn't in the original, and they were doing like a very cheap port here, but come on. They're more than capable of doing it. They're also on a new engine, too. So, yeah, options-wise, it's pretty good. You're losing about 100 frames between playing this one and the original. The original still has a lot more bugs. In fact, the engine for the original isn't very good, in that there's a lot of popping. Like, a lot of popping. So yeah, at this game I average like around 130, 140 frames at 1080p with settings on at max. And the original, I had like something over like 100 plus that, so yeah. Decent amount of options, pretty good. You can import your saves as far as I know, and there's no FOV slider, which is really annoying. This is the second time around they didn't implement it. Even though supposedly it's on a new engine, I think. Controls, you have various configurations. It even supports, supposedly, Xbox One. I have my controller hooked up. What's nice is that when you have your controller hooked up, though, like in the original, it would default to that controller, then you couldn't use your keyboard and mouse, although you couldn't use it to navigate the menus. But here, even if it's plugged in, it will still use keyboard and mouse until you switch over, that's cool. I like that. There's only one type of anti-aliasing, and also, so... there's no borderless window mode, just like the original, which really sucks. Now, caution to my YouTube gamers out there, my YouTube recorder, you know, the guys who spend hours and hours at a time doing recordings and making sure they're perfect. Do not hit escape in this game, because sometimes it will break and it'll actually, like, alt-tab out, like it'll go into a windowed mode, which the game starts in for some stupid reason. It's also locked at 30 FPS in the menus, although not in the game. And it can break your recording if you use something like an Elgato. So, yeah, just something to bear in mind. I lost my mind the second time that happened, and I nearly broke my keyboard. Alright. Chromatic Aberration effect. This is nice to have off because it can cause some motion sickness to some people. Dying Light eventually patched that in, which is cool. Full HD quality. The game looks pretty decent for what it is. It's one of the better HD retouch-ups. It's mostly simply for graphics alone. There's a couple new features here and there. I don't know about the online, because because the game just came out and I've been trying to find people to play it with me. Alright, so welcome to the game, and texture-wise, it is pretty good. It's one of the stronger points. There is some pop in here and there, but it's not that bad. Shadow quality is pretty decent. Let's get out here. So yeah, you're gonna notice, like, in the original game, there was a ton of pop-in. Like, I actually booted it up, and I was in this area, and there is pretty much none at all. I'm not seeing any right now. Cutscenes are a lot better. It just looks sharper. Now, you notice my frame rate in the top right there, again, at 1080p. It's about 100 frames more in the original, but, you know, that's fine, as long as it's running pretty good, and it looks pretty nice. Ooh. Hit the wrong button. Awesome. Hit it twice. Cool. I should work for Polygon. Anyway, so the game runs pretty well. If you have an older system, I still probably would recommend picking up the original, because the original is honestly, like, actually there was a bundle just a few days ago. It was for, like, you can get Dying Light for $1, basically, and you get Riptide for, like, $4 on a Humble Bundle. It's pretty cheap. And actually, they're offering, all credit to them, they are offering a discount. That's how I picked this one up. So if you own the original, this game only costs $3. As does Riptide if you own Riptide. That's actually really cool. And that's going to be happening till, I believe, August 1st. So you have plenty of time to decide and pick that up. Whereas Darksiders 2, giving a comparison, Darksiders 2 not only didn't run very well, it also didn't look this good. Darksiders 2, the biggest problem I have with that game is that you needed to own all the DLC to... God, it's happening so fast, like it's going right and left. I'm not... Ugh. But Darksiders, you needed to own all the DLC in order to pick up Definitive Edition for a cheaper price. Thankfully I did, but yeah, it's a little annoying that... Like, it's just simple here. Like, okay, yeah, just pay $3 and you get the game. And all credit to them, I'm pretty sure this is the Dying Light because it looks very close to that game now. It looks really gorgeous. Unfortunately, there is still the problem, you know, it's a co-op focused game with no local multiplayer, and I get online's like, you know, it's been a thing like that for a while, but I would have really liked to have, I would have totally bought Riptide if both games supported local co-op. It's just kind of this lost form. I mean, LAN is understandable, because, like, LAN is just, you can do that online, but with a little bit more input lag. Just, like, I understand if games don't have that. But local co-op is still a lot of fun. I mean, I remember the outrage. Like, there's obviously is a demand for it, because why were people losing their minds when Halo 5 didn't end up having local multiplayer? It also really sucks for those games, because when you have tournaments, you need, instead of having one Xbox and like 4 players, and one copy of the game, you need 4 Xboxes and 4 copies of the game. Just a little ridiculous. Polygon, if you want to hire me, I am pretty terrible at video games. Anyway, so yeah, there are a few things missing here and there. I feel like it could use an FOV slider. It could use a lot of things. It's not a bad value if you pick it up for like the $3 it is. It's 80% off currently with that upgrade. Shadow quality is really nice. Lighting quality, as you saw there, the little particles, like that was similar to Dying Light, were excellent. The game itself is a little repetitive. Again, I would think that I would recommend picking up like a 4-pack or something like that. I don't think there is one available currently, but like getting it to play with a buddy, because this harkens back to like what I've been saying about co-op for a while. It's that a lot of games, like everyone's like, they always tout like, oh, it's fun with friends, but like Borderlands is the worst example of this, because like Borderlands 1 was actually kind of a fun game, and Borderlands 2 was like you pretty much had to play that game in co-op, or else it can get really mind-numbingly boring because of the bullet-spongy enemies. And here, it's kind of the same thing. If you want a good single-player experience with zombies and parkour, play Dying Light. If you want a good cooperative experience, Dying Light's not too bad, but I think Dead Island is in many ways superior. But it is pretty cheap, and Dying Light still holds its value today. But yeah, I don't have really too much else to say. It is a decent-looking game. Some textures are better than others, like some of the floor right here is but like the trees are really nice. Shadows are great, yeah. I don't want to jerk off too much over the graphics in this game, so I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for watching. I'll have more videos up, hopefully within the next week. I'm working on a lot of projects right now. I'll see you next time. I'm out.